Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm here with the lovely Sunshine Grace, and she is a spiritual medium, mental health advocate, right? And lots of things in her journey that I want to ask her about. So I'm super excited about this interview. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, such a pleasure to meet you, Sharon. I've been looking forward to this since I reached out to you. So thank you for being willing to have a conversation today. And I'm going to ask you questions about yourself too, because I want to know about you. I hope that's okay.
I love it. Yeah, I just love how the divine brings us together. And you reaching out to me was like, oh, wow, I don't normally get people. I've had one other person reach out to me. Well, actually, a couple of people reach out to me and say they wanted to be on the podcast. And usually I'm like, oh, I don't know. I really like to pick my people. And then I looked at your videos and I was like, yeah, I want her on my podcast.
I passed the test. So,
Yes, your energy right away told me, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So,
oh, sweet.
um, it's divinely led, and I really appreciate you listening to your guides, your intuition. So,
Well, and I'm going to just say thank you for being a community leader. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about somebody who is actually a professor at Pacifica Graduate Institute, and I came across his path because he taught a recent module in the class I'm taking on Jungian psychology. And
mm,
he was his lecture was so inspiring, and there were so many things I want to emulate. This person is like such a super cool person,
mhm,
and one of the things he said was he talked a lot about community building, and
mm,
you're a community builder.
I
And
am.
thank God for all of the podcast hosts who I don't know for the listeners if you are a host of podcasts or you do your own editing, for films, you'll understand this, but for the average listener, they don't understand how much time and energy goes
Totally.
into uh holding the vision and doing all the back end work for podcasts.
Mhm,
It's a devotion of love because most people don't get paid for it. And
mhm,
yet, I think since the pandemic, we just crave human, safe interaction that is safe and inspiring and, respectful and kind, and
mhm.
I'm just so grateful, and there aren't as many female podcast hosts as men, like, there's a fraction of women, so we need more women doing what you're doing, and also, I know you have a whole life outside your podcast, so anytime anytime, like, she's
Yeah.
not just a podcast host, people, she actually has a whole life. So, anytime you get overwhelmed actually, that's my first question for you, Sharon. What how do you balance? How do you balance running this podcast that you don't get paid for, all the other community things you do, and they're self-nourishing, and you're
Mhm.
caretaking for your animals and children and job?
Sweet of you to ask. It gets to I go through these phases of I have to, I need that person on my I need to initiate conversation with this person and then I go through burnout for a couple of months. So it's usually a couple of months on, a couple of months off. But I mean, how do I balance really is I look at it as a fun conversation of I would be doing this if I was meeting you for coffee, you know? And I found this amazing platform, Riverside, by these women that podcasted me recently. Empowered Voices is their podcast. Um, they told me, "Oh, you'll be getting a link from Riverside." And I looked at this platform and I was like, "This is what I need to be doing my podcast on it." So it's making it easier being on here because the editing is so easy. Right after we
Mm,
get off, it's does a lot of editing itself. So
wow.
um, I like to I really like to meet new people. So I look at it as this is kind of networking, meeting new people, seeing who I can share this person's work with or their journey with, and putting the spotlight on people that are doing amazing things, working on themselves. So it's really fun and I love to do it. But yes, it does get to a point where I'm like, oh, I don't want to be on my computer staring at a screen again. I'd rather just meet you in coffee. But I know that video makes it more appealing. Like this kind, like if we were doing it just sitting and talking, it's not as appealing for the algorithm and for me too. I don't really like to I like to see the face up, right side by side, and you need to hire like camera people to do that, and that costs thousands of dollars. So this is a great way to meet people, network, build community. Like you said, I love building community. So it's all part of my passion. So I just
Mm.
have to do it, make sure that I'm not overdoing it.
So
So
that's it sound what I'm hearing is it sounds like it's kind of seasonal. So when you're getting ready to go into the burnout phase, what signs do you notice that tell you, "Okay, I need to lean back"?
uh, getting overwhelmed with things that are going on and my like if my cat is sick, or right now in the winter I have tortoises that I have to bring in and out depending on the weather, and they make a big mess. If it's really cold outside, I have them in my bathroom and they poop all over the floor. And I'm like, "Ah, I can't, what am I doing?" Like, I love animals, but I can't do this. And, and then I get this message of just chill, just chill for a bit, take some time off. It's okay. And I just listen to it.
That's that's so you get stressed out more easily. It's like the baseline level of stress rises, so it's
Yeah.
more easily,
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I need to
affected.
put some stuff away for a bit and I'll come back to it. I just need some time where I'm, not doing so much. So,
Mm,
which
yeah.
I do that a lot. I don't know if you're knowledgeable about human design, are you?
A little bit. I think when I listened to one of your podcasts, it sent me down a little rabbit hole to find out what mine was.
Oh, did you find out?
I did, and I don't know the words, but if you said them, I would know. But yes,
Okay. So the energy types are manifesting generator, projector, manifester, reflector. Do you remember
thank
any
you.
of it?
It's the MG, manifesting gen.
Okay. Oh, wow. So are you able to balance a lot of things at once?
Yes, but it hasn't always been that way. It's
Okay.
been sorry. I've always been able to balance a lot, but in my younger years, I sacrificed my well-being.
Okay.
Now, I prioritize my well-being, and everything comes after that.
Okay.
So, I
Okay.
don't slip into those seasons very often anymore,
Yeah, so you're living in
but
alignment. So it's
well,
you're
thank you, but I also feel like radical self-care is just one of my, like, life principles, and I'm
good.
fortunate to do that because I don't have a 9 to 5. I've been retired for 6 years.
Okay.
So, every day of my life is a slow morning, which my day picks up around 2. I mean, I wake up at, like, 9, but I don't start being productive until I've had my morning
Uh-huh.
tea, zenned out with my cat, meditated,
Mhm.
I mean, done all
That's
the
amazing.
things. So,
Amazing. So tell me about your youth. What went on there that was taking you away of being from being in alignment? What was your challenge growing up or challenges?
oh, I think so many of us
Yeah.
can relate to this. I think we all just were told as kids, especially in a hyper protective society that values productivity. From the time we're little, we're told you're valuable because you can produce, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm probably not different than any other American. I attached to the identities that got my needs met, made me feel seen, made money, did all those things, and I don't have any shame about that. Actually, I actually have a lot of appreciation for all of the roles I've played in my life and all the amazing adventures I've been on and all the amazing teams I've worked on. Um, and as I'm getting ready to look 50 in the eye this year,
Me
it's just,
too.
are you? That's
Yes. When's your
awesome.
birthday?
June 18th. When is yours?
Oh, you're beating me. You're gonna be 50 before me. September.
September. Okay.
I have another friend. I think her birthday is June 18th too. It's around that June 18th or 19th that she's gonna be 52. Wow. Interesting.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Wow, we're in the 50
Yeah. I
people.
think just turning 50, it's like half of 100 times, around the sun. It's a symbolic number for so many reasons. And
Mhm.
I've been in this season for a while of radical self care, um, and pushing myself to act as if it's the most important thing. And I think like a lot of people, I have a chronic health condition.
Okay.
My
What is it?
apparently my soul decided to take a life where it's like, yeah, you've got these challenges and also this health condition.
Mm.
So I'm renting a very amazing body for this lifetime. Like, it's very strong. I've got my mom's Russian, bloodline in my legs. Like, leg days in the gym are like I feel like a powerhouse, right? Like, I have no problem building muscle even at 50. I'm just a very strong person physically, and I have a very narrow window. Once I quit, a couple nights of poor sleep, a couple nights of not food prepping or poor eating, and it's like I'm down the hill. So I have to keep myself in this narrow margin. And anybody with a chronic health condition knows that, right? We're optimizing all the time because we have to.
Yes,
That's
yes.
just how you
I
learn to live. So it becomes it's more than a lifestyle. It's like it's a value.
Yeah. I totally get that. I had a friend live with me for 3 months. She deals with a few things, one of them being mold illness, and so she has to stay on her regimen. She can't go off or, she'll have a little setback. Like, she went on her birthday, she's not really eating dairy or gluten, so she ate her favorite cake, tres leches. She and she can't do that all the time, it's like once a year, so I get it. What is the health condition?
It's a female multi-generational
Mm,
condition. It's,
okay.
Hashimoto's thyroiditis.
Oh, okay. I think I
Yeah,
did read about that when I was reading about you.
yeah,
Yes, I've heard of that.
yeah.
So what kind of symptoms occur from that?
So the thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland in your throat that communicates with the hypothalamus, and other parts of the brain to regulate metabolism,
Mm,
energy, sleep cycle. So basically think of it as like the thermostat. Like when it goes up, you get more energy. When it goes down, you get less. And mine was radiated when I was in the Navy because that was the medical protocol for treating somebody with my condition at the time, which is
oh,
crazy to just think, oh, the Western medical
wow,
paradigm is like the organ doesn't work, cut it out. But they
wow,
didn't cut it out. They gave me iodine, which is radiation, right? And killed the gland or it atrophied. And then the protocol was to give a synthetic thyroid hormone by
uh-huh,
mouth called Synthroid every day that acts as that thermostat. Um, and it doesn't sound like a bad plan on paper, but when you live that life, it is
yeah,
miserable because
mm,
because keeping your hormones in that window based on a pill is just first of all,
yeah,
there are like 40,000 options out there for pills. Some have gluten, some have allergens, some are just really bad hitters. So
mhm,
finding the right pill, and then you think about all our hormonal fluctuations over a lifespan as women, that changes what we need. So we can it's just and then the dose, it's a moving target. So if I take a pill today, it doesn't that pill doesn't reach its full potential till 8 weeks from now
whoa,
because its shelf life is 8 weeks.
oh, wow,
So you can't really adjust your dose
oh,
for at
man,
least 8 weeks when you every time you change it. So it's constantly this moving target.
mm,
And there's another layer. I have the VA for medical healthcare, and the VA is like, you know, they're great in so many ways. I'm so grateful for them. And also they have so many weird red tape or
mm,
bureaucratic policies. We can't test too often. It'll look like this, blah, 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 blah. So you don't always get the support you need. So
right,
it's just, it's just but the good thing is, when you commit to feeling better, whether it's psychological or
mm,
physical, you learn how to work with these things and
mm,
and, and they don't take you down all the time. Like you just yeah, it's almost like a part of my journey is having the thyroid condition. It's
mhm,
like learning to use my voice, advocate for myself in my healthcare, tell the doctors, I hear you, and that's still not okay. This is what I need, you know,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
ironic. It's the voice is connected to the thyroid gland. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, it's part of my emotional and I think spiritual maturity path. And also I totally never discount the chance of a miracle. I was told early on when I first started hearing a voice as a medium, which I call spirit today, I was told that my thyroid gland would be healed, which is probably how you heard about this because it's in one of it's my first film. It's
Mhm.
called Ayahuasca and Spiritual Awakenings: My Story on my YouTube channel, Sunshine Grace. And coincidentally, I'm 3.5 years into this journey of this spiritual awakening, and several months ago in my dreams, I was shown it was healing, which for a thyroid gland to grow back when you're after it's been, given radiation, and I'm
What?
taking Synthroid, which should be suppressing it anyway, for it to grow back, I've only found one documented case of that in any medical journal on throughout history
What?
in Western medicine. It's like it doesn't happen, and when I went to my doctor and told her, "Hey, I have prophetic dreams. Do you think you could give me an ultrasound?" And she was like, it's funny, she's very traditional Western medicine, but she's from India. And I don't know, that word prophetic dreams must have hit something primal in her. She's like, "Oh, okay." So she schedules this ultrasound, and sure enough, the right side, it's hard to say if it's conclusive. It's a little too early to tell for sure, but the right side has grown this I don't know if it's millimeter or centimeter tissue that wasn't there at the last time I got an ultrasound.
Wow. That is amazing.
So I do think it's connected to, all of us who have been, which is everybody on the planet, who have been told,
Mm.
don't speak up, don't speak your truth. I hear you and I'm going to override you. I'm going to overstep your boundaries. Your voice doesn't matter. Um, Go along to get along, be a people pleaser, be in
Mhm.
harmony with the group. It's like we all can relate to this. It's an archetypical human experience, and the more we're like follow our inner truth,
Yeah.
even if it goes against the whole flock of birds, because they can fly in the wrong direction, right?
Mhm.
We heal, and I think the body knows how to do that.
Ah, it's so beautiful. I love it. Yes, so true. A lot of healing going on physically is because we need it mentally and spiritually. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
That
it's
is
connect-
amazing. What an inspiring message for all those going through similar things of like and getting that message in your dream, it just makes the belief stronger. So the belief is just growing and growing and then while your thyroid is growing, like
confidence and the body are growing at the same time.
yeah. That is so
It's
cool.
funny.
I love
Thanks, Sharon.
that.
And I'd also wanna be, accurate, like, it is too early to tell. I won't get confirmation for another year and a half when they do the next ultrasound. The VA won't do an ultrasound less than 2 years of,
Oh, okay.
so
Well, I
I'll
mean,
but I'll
and that's time for you, to be practicing, healing your own self, like
yeah,
using it as an experiment. Okay, let's see
yeah.
what's going to show up.
It's so funny you have 2 butterflies on the back of your wall too.
Yes,
We're
I do.
talking
Yes.
about the thyroid.
That is funny. Oh my gosh.
The
I
universe is
usually
like, "Hello."
That's so funny because I usually don't record over here in this corner, but
Oh.
I decided to do it today. So
Well, I was just gonna say, sorry, do you know what, I'm sure you know this, butterflies represent many things in different cultures, but one of the things they represent is transformation.
mhm,
And so, I actually have a question for you,
okay.
and I'll come back to answering yours. Um, what is one thing that is going unexpectedly well in your life right now? It can be external or inside your own mind and heart, or one thing you're proud of.
I think the connections I've been making over the last 4 months. I live out in Bastrop, and I've lived here for 2.5 years, and I've really tried to make, like, a sisterly friendship, like somebody that feels like family, and starting in, like, September, it all started to happen when I wasn't having a checklist about it. It was just connecting with people that felt right, you know? I was really wanting this perfect friend that had a daughter that was friends with my daughter, like, and so when I opened myself up to that, my dog helped me do that, because I would go to the dog park and meet new people there, and I was like, "Oh, I never thought I was gonna be doing what I did in my 20s." That's how I met friends in my 20s. I would go to the dog park in Austin, meet new people, and now it's happening again. So, I would
Oh,
say unexpectedly well is the amount of friends I've connected with over the last 4 months.
wow. Amazing. I'm so glad that
Whole
you're
family.
getting what's that?
My soul family coming.
Your soul family. I love that. Oh, that is so good for mental health, right?
Yes, it has been a boost to my mental health for sure. It's helped
Oh.
me. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 is suicidal ideation and 10 is euphoria, what was your mental health before September or before this start clicking? And what number is it at now?
I would say I was getting pretty bored and stagnant in August. I was feeling like, "Gosh, I need something new." I would say I was just around an average 5, but now I'm probably about a 7, 8.
Amazing. Doesn't it feel great to be at 7, 8?
It does, but it's not. I can say that now, but there are still days, because I am, premenopausal. I mean, too much information, but I have been bleeding for 2 weeks straight right now, and I'm like, "When is this going to end?"
Aw, your body's like, "Just get rid of all of everything in 1 month."
Yes, and I'm trying to work and just like, "Okay, this is releasing. We just had a full moon. I'm just let me go with this and release," but it's very draining on my body, just
Because you're
so
losing iron?
yeah, but I'm really trying to, go with the whole cleansing idea and, okay, what else do I need to let go of? So,
Mm,
most of the time I am a 7,
mhm.
but there are days when I feel like, oh, kinda out of it. So it's
Yeah.
not consistent, and
Have you
that's actually part of my human design. Um, if you have an emotional center defined, which I do, I'm emotional authority, that means that you have some up and down emotions, like a roller coaster, but, they're all coming internally. It's not a lot of emotions from other people that are causing it. It's an internal thing with me. So, I know it's not either other people's energy can affect me if I let it. My emotional up and downs definitely come from within me. So,
I see. So can I ask a couple questions?
oh, sure.
The up and down emotions, what are they saying? Are they saying like, "Oh, the bleeding will never stop"? Are they fearful, anxiety?
It's when I'm on a downward spiral, it's usually just like, "Oh, how did I get this age? How did I like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, "I don't even recognize myself." Like, what? But then on an up, I'm like, "Oh, I'm beautiful. Look at me. I'm about to be 50." Like, I'm, still able to work out and, like, do things, and I'm making connections and, having fun in life. But yeah, the downward is just like, how did I where did my life go? Like, yeah, how did I get to be almost 50 here? And also just lacking, a partner, like, that's here. When it's winter, cold months, I'm just kind of craving, like, a part and this is why my last partner and I split was because he's long distance, and I was, like, getting tired of waiting 2 weeks to see him, and
Yeah,
so
you need somebody
that
close.
yeah, and I have my daughter, but she's very, um, to herself a lot, so she's not a
Mhm.
very talkative person.
Engaging.
So, yeah, that would
Sharon,
be
I'm gonna pass on to you something I know if my therapist was on this call and I were in your shoes, she would say this to me. And
okay.
I've appreciated her as a mirror for me the last few years when she's been in my life weekly. When it comes to medical stuff, we are very intuitive, I think, a lot of us, especially women, with what's happening in our bodies. And when you're bleeding for 2 months straight, your body probably doesn't have enough iron in it. And iron isn't, from what I understand, one of those supplements that we should take without getting blood work first because there's such a narrow window of what we can tolerate. But
Mm.
and I don't know if you're supplementing with iron right now while you're menstruating, but you might want to really get your blood work tested
Yeah,
with a small dose of iron. You might feel a lot different.
you're right. No, I have been making sure that I take a lot of supplements, but I have been making sure that what I'm eating has iron in it. But did I say 2 months? It's been 2 weeks, not 2 months, just to
Okay. No, you
clarify.
probably said that. Maybe I
But I
heard.
have heard of women that have been bleeding for 2 months, and I hope that doesn't happen to me. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
is it?
maybe, and I don't know if you have a naturopath or a doctor, but maybe just go do a little blood
Yeah,
work and see, test the hormones to see how
yeah,
close you are to
definitely. I
menopause.
know I am due for that. So yes,
Yeah.
you're
I
spot
just sent my doctor a list of like 500 things I needed tested to get tested as I'm turning 50. And, and so I went to do the blood draw last week and the I forget the word, is it phlebologist? Anyway, the person has the vials and it's like
on.
9 of them. And I was like, oh God, this I gotta give 9 vials. And
What's
she's like,
that?
yeah, there's a long list of things your doctor wanted tested. I'm like,
Oh,
no, that's actually me. And okay, okay, I got it. Well,
well,
I hope the menopause thing smooths out. Please take good care of your health. Listen to your
yeah,
body, but also like, yeah. And it sounds like also that it's so crazy. I think about Ram Dass, how as he started to age, he was like, I'm not going to subscribe to our culture's definition of our value decreasing as we age. And so he wrote books on aging gracefully, right? Of course, he was a male. I think women have it harder.
yeah,
So I think it's so natural to just have a lot of compassion for our own selves
mhm,
as women who are aging and losing, the things that we had our whole lives. For
yeah.
me, it's like I used to be able to go for a run on the treadmill and this left eye didn't droop. And now no matter how much I run, the skin is like, and I'm like, really? And I am pretty confident person. I'm actually not vain at all. There are things I don't love about this body, but there are many things that I take it pretty lightly because I'm like, it's
Uh-huh,
just a car I'm renting. Like it's not
right.
who I am. I don't get so attached. I kind of have fun just decorating this body because I
Mhm,
know it's temporary, right?
yeah.
But but there's the human part of me where I'm like, should I am I really considering being the person I judged my whole life and go get a facelift? Go get
I know.
rhinoplasty? Fix this really weird side of my nose? Like, I'm just
Oh
like,
my god.
this is what turning 50 looks like, y'all. Like, it's really human. Like,
I know, I know. Me too, the same thing, because I think it was last year I was thinking, I just need to tell people, like, if you women keep going off getting Botox and stuff, like, how is it gonna how you're making it harder for us that are trying to, like, grow old naturally over
uh-huh,
here, okay? Like,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
is there yeah, same thing I've thought, like, God, like, maybe I should go, because 'cause I'm like, "No, no, no. No, I don't need to do that." Like, it's just stop it,
Don't
Sharon.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
It's a beautiful process, and I do know that at a soul level,
Mhm,
and I don't wanna subscribe to that, aging makes you less than, right? Because there are cultures where aging makes you
mm,
the wise one, right? Like in
mhm,
Asian cultures. So, yeah, it's so important that as women, we inspire the women coming behind us that are aging behind us. It's beautiful to watch our hair change to, like all these little lines, like they're so unique on everybody, like
yeah.
I have this V coming up here at my third eye, and I'm like, well, maybe that's because my third eye is opening. I'm just gonna think that.
I
I'm gonna
love
put
that. I have to say, I might have a different opinion than you, and mine
okay.
is more like, trust yourself to know what you need. And because when you shave your head as a woman,
Mhm,
which is a spiritual rite of passage in many cultures,
mhm,
but in Western culture, even though we're becoming more open to it, our hair is so much of what makes a woman feminine.
mhm,
And because I have sharp features, uh, when I shaved my head, it sharpened my features. Like I couldn't, my hair softened my features.
mhm.
And I've never liked the shape of my nose. My sister has a perfect, beautiful button nose, like yours. Like it's perfect. Like if
Funny,
there
I
was a
hate my
definition
nose.
of a perfect nose, and it would be her nose. And it, but it getting rhinoplasty is something, and this is where the rubber meets the road, y'all. Like we're supposed to be talking about like all spiritual stuff,
I
but
know.
this is the human side of reality. I love getting messy. I love the messiness of human. Like we might be waking up and healing trauma, but like we're not above being human. We have these bodies.
Right,
Right? And
totally.
I have been contemplating rhinoplasty and fantasizing about it for at least 10 years. And I was so ashamed and embarrassed because I was judging the people who did it as
Mhm,
selling out
I
or
get it.
labeling them as superficial or, being too attached to their youth. And I had all these labels and I've undone a lot of those. And it's like, again, coming back to like, I'm, I do plan to be relevant for decades. I plan to live a long life and I plan to be connected to what's happening, not just to the culture in America as we're growing and changing and waking up and helping each other heal, but globally, what's happening. It's such an exciting time to be a human
Mhm,
being. And and this isn't so much the pressure to have a certain appearance from being a public figure as not that I am, but it's not that so much as it is like it's almost like a when you really listen to the stories of people who identify as transgender and they
mhm.
say it doesn't feel like my body doesn't feel like who I am. Like my nose, as silly as it sounds, doesn't feel like who I am. And
Interesting.
so I really have researched a local person who can do it and it's like 7 grand and I'm saving up for it. And I just wanna make space for people to be authentic, to do
Mhm.
what is aligned for them, no matter what the culture says about it, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that. No, I totally agree. I love that. It's true that everyone has their own circumstance and where they need to go on their journey, and as long as they're listening to their intuition, their, like, true authentic guidance, then
Yes.
it's not wrong, nothing to be
Yeah.
judged, but nothing should be judged. Everyone has their own journey, but, um, the nose thing, I totally when I was younger, I hated my nose. I hated it was more like this, like, I had people make fun of me in school, so I
Yeah.
hated my nose. Like, I tell my clients, because I work with a lot of kids, that I used to tape my nose down at night because I was like, "I don't want this nose." So, it's like
Oh,
we're always unhappy, like, you're telling me and I've heard many women, since I've been, like, over 18 tell me they wish they had a nose like mine. I'm like,
mhm.
"My nose I got a lot of, heat for my like, I had people make fun of my nose in school, and I remember even one of my friend's moms saying, "What happened to your nose? Did you break your nose? Like, how did your nose end up like that?" So
Wow. What the F? Like,
I know.
what is wrong with
I
us?
was like, "Is my nose really that bad?" But, as years went on, I realized it was me causing the attention to my nose, because I hated it so much, and anyway, so I get it, like, and I don't judge anybody that gets Botox or facelifts. My mom has had a few things done, and she looks amazing, and I'm like, "You know what? I might do that one day."
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we
I
just
never
gotta
thought I'd be in this position where I thought I would. I thought
yeah.
I because I have never been in this position before, so
Yeah, yeah, and that's the humbling part of it, and
yeah.
now we're talking about Soul Quest. Because
Yeah,
we are is
yeah,
what you said is really what it's about. We all have to find our path. We all have no, the
yeah.
answers are not there. They're certainly not in our culture. That's just a template, you know?
Yes, totally,
So
yeah. So, yeah, this is great conversation, inspiring for other people, so glad we're talking about it. So, I wanna know about
mhm.
the Navy. What was that like?
What it was such a long season of my life. I mean, 9.5 years.
Okay.
Um, what and I joined at 22 and got out at 31,
Oh, wow.
right before I went into grad school, and I was in a relationship at the time with a person I ended up marrying, and his daughter, when I met him, she had just turned 5, and so my stepdaughter is now 27.
Wow.
So it seems so long ago, but it was a significant time in my life, and I know a lot of my friends are curious to know what that experience was like, but what can you be more specific? Like, what are you curious about?
Would you recommend somebody go into the like, if somebody was thinking about it, would you say, "I totally feel like you should do it," or I know it's up to, everybody's different, but
Mhm,
would you say it was a great experience, or I wouldn't do it again if I could go
mm.
back and
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. Well, for people and I have come across many parents who, when they find out I served or when I was serving and they had a child that's interested in joining, uh, wanted to know if I could connect with their child to talk with them,
Mhm.
and it's always an honor to do that, but I usually just try to be a mirror and help the person understand their own whys, because everybody's whys are different, and then to give a very honest account of the pros, my in my lived experience, my how my experiences were some were terror and some were beauty,
Mm.
and just kind of give a real testimony to what it feels like to serve for 9.5 years. Um, I joined because I was homeless at the time,
Mm. Okay.
and I couldn't compute how do I get there where I knew I wanted to go in life, which was up and out of a very, you know, low income neighborhood, trauma, uneducated. Uh, how do I get there? And the only way I could figure out how to do it, because we didn't have any money, was to join the military and use the GI Bill, which at the time was $30,000 for college. Because I as a five-year-old, I was just like, "Mom, what's the highest degree?" And she's like, "PhD." I'm like, "How many years of after high school is that?" And she's like, 8. And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I want." And so I didn't know how to get my PhD without it. Um, and I knew when I got into a car accident at a time in my life when I was almost 22 and already kind of slipping through the cracks of the social support or fabric that holds people in housed, safe environments. I was, couch surfing and almost homeless for the second time in my life. And I was just like, there's no way I can get my college education, working 2 or 3 jobs, since I was 15. And then I lost my vehicle in an accident. And I'm like, living in Phoenix where the public transportation is crap, like it's just not going to work. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, I need to make a radical choice. So I joined, and it did give me everything I was hoping for, and then some. It gave me access to college, $30,000 plus another 15 for a college fund. So I had 45 grand for college. I got my master's out of that. It gave me leadership training and, more importantly, fellowship training, which means how to be somebody who knows how to follow and support. It gives me team building. Um, I have always had amazing mentors in my life, and in the military, it was no different. There were men who, because I was the first female on an aircraft carrier.
Wow.
So, so I stepped on board October 1st, 1998 at 22 years old, and it was a ship with 6,000 men, fully staffed, and I was the first woman. And so all of my mentors were male, but they taught me personal finance and investing, and this is when the internet was starting to come online, so I served during the years of, like, 9/11 and the USS Cole being bombed, coming back through the Suez in our battle group after a deployment. So there were some pivotal historical, um, experiences that kinda shifted my worldview. I've never been like a radical pro-American um, kind of person. I've always been more worldly,
Mhm.
but uh, I had conflicted views about what we were doing, and ultimately, that's why I got out. I ended up um, being a conscientious objector, and just personally for me, while I have much respect for service men and women and all service members, rather, for me, it was too hard on my heart to stand on the flight deck and watch us put bombs on aircraft, watch
Mm.
that fly off and come back with no bombs, and do this, day after day after day after day after day, and just you can't help but question where are those going and who are they killing, and it was just hard. So,
Wow.
yeah, I carry and still to a degree carry I've done a lot of work around it, but I certainly carry a lot of grief. I think I had one ayahuasca ceremony where the medicine brought that up, the guilt. It was like a big cry
Wow.
fest and purged it out. But yeah, it's I mean, ideally we have a world where we don't draw these kind of borders, and make people enemies, you know. I just feel like we can do better as humans.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. I'm sure
Mm.
that was so difficult, I can't even imagine. So, a big part of your life taught you many things.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what happened in, 2022?
Oh my gosh, Sharon. We
So, it's
should
a big
stop
year for you.
recording at 42 minutes and just keep talking for another 5 hours. Uh, yeah, it was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. Yeah, I was in an ayahuasca ceremony in Costa Rica, and on June 18th of 2022, I was turning 46 that night in ceremony. It was our 3rd night drinking medicine in a week-long retreat, and it was the first time that that the voice I hear, as a spiritual medium, I heard it,
Mhm.
and it spoke outside of my head, and, it said actually spelled the words as they were spoken, "Bring people together," and
Wow.
I was like, I mean, I was deep asleep, and when I was coming to and I heard it spoken, you're in this pitch black maloka, but you can see a little bit because the shamans have their pipes they're smoking. Anyway, and I'm like, "There's nobody here. How did I hear something?" And it was, like, as clear as you and I speaking right now.
Wow.
And I wasn't afraid of it. I was in awe of what I'd call the numinous now. And, that was the beginning of a very long 3.5 years in counting spiritual awakening that, I may end up writing about at some point. I started writing a book. I'm about 18,000 words in, so I've got a long ways to go. But, um,
Wow.
I think what's important for me to share is that, I mean, there's something. Maybe this framework would be helpful. So I was an atheist when I had that experience. So, like, it doesn't compute when you think that the only thing that is real is matter, and then you hear something outside your head, like, the way you view the world has to start to dissolve.
Right.
And, there's this framework that might be helpful. It's an arc of spiritual awakenings, and it's 5 stages. And it's described in different languages and different words and different indigenous cultures, but for simplicity's sake, the stages are the calling, the breakdown, the initiation, the return, which I think people know least about, and being of service.
Mhm.
And my calling was 7 months. My flirtation with the divine, my hearing it spoken outside of my head, getting back to Austin, hearing the Ikros whistled in my bedroom when I woke in the morning, and teaching dreams starting. Teaching dreams happen. I have 2 to 3 dreams a night and have almost every night now for 3.5 years.
Mm.
So I get taught, and I know you have also some dream space
Yeah.
gifts, right? So
Mhm.
um but the calling was 7 months. Then I moved to the breakdown. That was 15 months.
Wow.
Uh it got as terrible as anybody. I've never heard anybody's awakening as bad as mine. The breakdown. I still haven't really chosen to come out yet and describe what really happened, but I was homeless again, and I
Mm.
had reached psychosis, and I didn't trust my mind. My mind broke. Um,
Mm.
thank God I had that experience because this is what put a fire in my belly to be an advocate for people who are labeled as schizophrenic and hear voices. But that was 15 months for the breakdown, and I came back into my body at the end of those 15 months and thought that I was already in service. So I started this YouTube channel making films about this illness that was I was over. I was done with it, right? I was over. Little did I know I wasn't in service. I was being of service, but I wasn't in the service yet because I still had to go through the initiation. The
Mm.
initiation was 23 months and it just ended last month,
Oh,
mid-January.
wow. Where did these stages come from? Like, where?
I'm kind of grouping together many people's research. Joan
Mm.
Halifax, who writes on shamanic illness, Mircea Eliade, Sandra Ingerman, a lot of Western
Okay.
contemporary authors. So I'm just kind of using generic terms that to overlay on their models. But yeah, the initiation is an interesting stage because there's so much stabilizing and strengthening. It's like the trunk of the tree. You just
Mm.
get strengthened, but things still don't make sense. And for me, I couldn't understand why spirit was still an asshole. I was like, but if I'm out of the illness, why are you still being an asshole? I don't understand. Excuse my language, but if y'all knew why I'm using that word, you would understand. A whole
Okay.
bunch of tests. And
Mm.
in South America, they call them pruebas. In Spanish, it means. So physical pain in the body. Uh, Christina Groff, which is Stanislav Groff's wife, a well-respected psychotherapist, she herself and her husband coined the term spiritual emergency. And I only learned this last month, but she had a 14-year spiritual emergency.
Oh,
And she, like me, also had physical pain in her body,
wow.
put there by the divine, intense.
Wow.
Hers started at the age of 30 when she gave birth to their first child. Mine started in an ayahuasca ceremony. It was only um, in work with my therapist who finally, working with her weekly for 2 years, she was like, Sunshine, because I read my therapist my dreams and my waking messages, and I get messages in meditation. And anytime I use psychedelics, which I haven't really used psychedelics in like 8 months, but, with the one exception, but she she said, I'm hearing you read these waking messages differently this time." She said, "I know you've always read me these, but for some reason they're landing differently today," and she said, "They're obviously profound wisdom, because Spirit's always talking about compassion,
Mm.
self-love,
Right.
self-respect, boundaries, compassion, forgiveness." She said, but I don't," she said, "You have you thought about why spirit is also dangerous, harming you? How can it be both?" And
Mm.
I, I was like, thank God somebody who knows me well gets it. Because I've been asking myself that same question for 3.5 years. And, and her question was not new for me, but I was like, it validated that confusion for me because she's a Zen Buddhist, and she's so grounded, and she's all about
Mm.
safety in the body. So it started me questioning, like, why is spirit still a jerk? And I realized, oh, because I'm finishing the initiation stage and starting the return. And the return stage, so 3.5 years into this, I'm just entering the return. And the return stage is when the universe slowly
Mm.
starts to earn your trust back,
Oh, I
because you've
get it.
got the crap beat out of you for 3.5 years, and many of those brutal interactions has made me go from being a passive people pleaser to, like, the first the first reaction I have when it looks like somebody is overstepping my boundary now isn't people pleasing. Now it's like, I'll fight you. But that's what the divine needed for me to do. I need to evolve to be someone who didn't let somebody crush my boundaries. You know, people who have been sexually abused, like I have, both in the military and as a civilian, in relationships, physically abused. So I'm now balanced. You know,
Yeah,
um,
wow.
and my lessons are always spelled in capital letters from spirit. My final lesson was radical self-respect.
Wow.
And that was my final lesson. And I think that is when the illness ends for most people. You
Mhm.
clean out a lot of trauma, and when you get to the point where you're like, love yourself so deeply and so authentically, that's when it starts to fall away.
Mm.
And I'm in the return, and now it's interesting because not only do I get messages from spirit, but I get messages from my soul. And my soul the other morning, I don't know if it's I'm sure it doesn't have a gender,
Yeah.
but it feels energetically like a female.
Uh-huh.
Uh, she's been asking me for more time to be able to channel live, because that's my dream. I want to channel live sober with no psychedelics. I've always used a little bit of cannabis, and she
Mhm.
knows this. I've always had two prayers to be able to channel live, like Tyler Henry and Teresa
Mhm.
Caputo,
Yeah.
with sober, and for it to not hurt my body, because cannabis hurts my body. And my other dream is to fully awaken in this lifetime and help others awaken. And
Uh-huh.
that for me means a abiding unity experience that is felt as peace, calmness, love, joy, and contentment in the body as a permanent state, even though
Wow.
we have the other emotions that move through us. So those are my two dreams. And she said to me the other morning, I need more time.
Mm.
And I said, I don't love that answer, but what am I going to do? Like, you're kind of in charge. I'm on your path. I'm just the body holding your energy. So if you need more time, like, I got to trust you, right? I can work against it, cause
Yeah.
suffering myself, or I can be like, yo, I trust you.
Well, that's a great place to be, a beautiful place to be. You
Oh,
can come into agreement with your soul that this persona avatar wants to move fast, but you're like, "Okay, I'll give you more time. You have more time." Feels like a lot of pressure is released.
yeah. Yeah. That's one of um, what you just named, Sharon, is one of the kind of Buddhist, practical tools or mindsets that has brought me a lot of liberation the last few
Mm.
weeks
Like
is,
surrendering?
it's translated from Pali as surrender, but it's not a great translation.
Mm.
Uh, it's more, I think the more accurate translation is to let something be.
Mm.
And especially for trauma survivors like me, the word surrender is like my whole nervous system is like, give up my power? What are you talking
Yeah,
about? Like,
that makes
these
sense. Yeah.
boundaries are already crushed. So uh, it's just coming to acceptance.
Mhm.
This
Yeah,
is
that's the
where
word,
I'm at.
acceptance. Mhm.
Yeah. It's very liberating.
It is. It is. I feel like in my life, accepting, like, my financial situation or living situation in different times in my life, it's like when I get to that moment of, "Aha." Just accept. It's okay, and I look back at my life and I see the patterns of how I work well, and going slowly works well for me. But
Mm.
part of me is like, "No, I gotta make this happen. I gotta make this happen." But I think, "Wait, no, if that happened right now, I'd probably freak out." I need it to go slow anyway, so let's just, not try
Wow.
so hard and
Can you give an example? Do you feel comfortable sharing? Like what?
um, or just like whenever when I'm in between relationships, if there's someone
Mm.
that seems to be the perfect fit, and they're ready to be in that relationship and it moves too fast for me and then I'll freak out, and then I have to step back first before I realize, oh yeah, that might be the relationship for me. Or like a new job comes in and it's a job that I mean, I work for myself, but like an opportunity will come in and I'll kind of freak out like, oh wait, no, I can't do that. It's too far or, it's gonna take away from my freedom or whatever, but then I'm like, "Wait, but this is what I asked for." Like, I need to go away slow I need it to go slow. When it happens, like, right away, it kind of, um, jars my nervous system a bit. I work better when it's, like, a gradual coming in of the new thing,
Yeah.
uh,
Can I
and I work
ask, and I know we're getting close to the
yeah,
end of the time here, but I'm curious to know what are the top qualities that you love in a romantic partner? Because I'm also getting ready to partner, call that in as well. So I'm
okay.
curious to know what you're looking for.
Uh, Someone that is working on himself spiritually, mentally, physically, um, likes to have adventure, but also likes to chill and just sit at home or be out in nature, but isn't a couch potato, doesn't drink, at
Mm.
least only drinks minimally. Um, Can I go? How many did I say?
Phew, you got lots more. Keep
Okay.
going.
Um, Someone that is, my best friend that I can have soulful, deep conversations with, I'm passionate about. I know that is always gonna have my back. Um, yeah. Did I say 5 yet?
Okay.
I don't wanna have, like, a specific detailed list. I'm open-hearted, but there are definitely things and you know what? With each relationship that I move into, I always get what I was missing in the previous one, you know?
Mm.
And so I'm trying to make sure I tell the universe exactly this from that relationship, this from that relationship, this from that relationship, bring it all together into this next one.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Everything from the past and.
Yes. All the good ones, all the good things from each one,
Yeah.
and
And you get more selective as time goes on, as you should, because your
exactly.
self-worth grows. Yeah, and your
Yeah,
self-understanding
yeah.
grows.
So what are you calling in?
Everything you named and about 4,000 more. I had excuse me, when I feel stuck in life, I reach out to, a dear acquaintance in London who is a medium, and she did a reading on me. Her name is Yamile Yemoonyah, if anybody wants to look her up.
Oh, how do you
Uh,
spell it?
Yamile Yemoonyah, or
Oh, yeah,
thereabout.
okay.
She's great. She's not her readings are not cheap. I think she's $600 an hour,
Oh, wow.
but every couple of years, and I trust her. And it was my 3rd reading, and I was expecting her to connect to the 3 guides. She did the first one, my grandfather, the spirit of all horses, and Greek goddess Athena.
Oh,
So I was surprised when she was like, "Oh, it's the Hindu goddess Kali, the goddess of the underworld. And
Whoa.
I was like, "Oh,
What? What is this
that's not
movie?
good." I'm trying to get up and out of this stuck place, and you were talking about going to the underworld? But it was such a beautiful reading, and that was back on July 29th, and I just re-listened to it a few days ago. And one of my main questions in the reading was, do I have my next person on the horizon? And if so, when? I have been single for 4 something years now, and I know I needed this time.
Mhm.
But, uh, I said, Yamil, if I don't if I'm not gonna meet him anytime soon, I need to know that so I can quit putting my energy there because it's
Yeah,
draining, right?
right.
Like, "Oh, I'm going Whole Foods, I gotta look cute," you know? No, I just wanna go in my sweats with my hoodie, like, I don't care. I'm not gonna meet him anytime soon. Anyway, maybe that's when I should meet him, when I have no makeup on, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, uh, Collie said, "Sunshine, there is a person," she actually described him. So for me, talk about superficial, but, I want somebody who's tall. My first boyfriend was 6'8". I'm 5'8".
Whoa. Okay.
Like, I would like him to be 6 foot plus, ideally, like 6'2". Even
Mhm.
taller is great. And she broke down some characteristics of his family and, that he's here and he took this lifetime to heal all his trauma, just like you. And it's a superpower of his, just like you. And she said, you really need someone who does the depth of inner work that you do, because if you don't, he won't understand you when you're doing it. I'm like, oh man, that's just so true. I've
Yeah.
I've never had a partner who does the inner work. No
Mhm.
wonder my relationships never never I mean, I was in a 16-year and 8-year and you know, miscellaneous, but that's the key piece. I think that's my
Yeah.
number one, right? And then just to know how to um stay humble and curious and know that we color every experience we have with these biases based on our own lived experience, and that
Yes. Important.
the default mode makes us default to protect our hearts, and knowing how to get unstuck as a couple by creating emotional safety, by, having difficult conversations, holding hands on the couch with our tea and our fuzzy
Yeah.
socks.
Yeah.
If my next person can do that, everything else will fall into place.
Mhm. I love that. Wow. I feel like you just called him in right there.
Oh, well, it's funny because Yemoonyah said, "Sunshine." A book that comes to mind that I had recommended to me is called "Getting the Love That You Want." And during the reading, honestly, Sharon, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got a back list of books and podcasts and YouTube."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Sure, sure, sure." But when I re-listened to this session yet a couple days ago, I was like, "Okay, that was back in July. It's February and he's still not here. Maybe I need to do some more, take more advice, right?" So I download the Audible version of the book. I am blown away. I just finished the preface and I'm like, what? How
What
can
is
I?
it? What is this book?
That's what I wanted to share with you. It's called Getting the Love That You Want. It's
Hmm.
a red and white cover, and it was published in 1988. And it's
Classic.
the beautiful side of calling in, not the trauma heavy side. It's like this is how loving this is how people who are in love in sustainable, healthy relationships interact. And it's the science behind it, and it's just the energetic,
Mhm.
emotional energy that you bring to your interactions. with
Yeah,
somebody that you wanna call your best friend. This is how you
right.
treat you cherish them. So it's already impressed me. It's written by a husband and wife couple
I love
that
that
are,
book.
like, in their 70s or 80s now, I'm guessing. Anyway,
Amazing. Have you read The Mastery of Love by,
no,
Don Miguel Ruiz?
no, I love him though.
That book is it's one of my favorites. I've read it, like, 3 or 4 times, and I always recommend it to couples, but even when you're not a couple, it preps you for when you
Mhm.
will be a couple. It sounds very similar, of course, taking different, perspectives, but I does age matter to you? I'm curious.
Uh, Thank you for asking. When I was in grad school getting my degree in psychology, I remember learning in our human, um, developmental class that a generation is defined by, I think, anthropologists or psychologists as 16 years. So this is how my brain works. So I'm like, if I half that, 8 years older and 8 years younger is half a generation. Beyond that, we probably can't really relate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I I prefer my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older, but I know I'm on this spiritual Facebook group, and I some lady got on there and said something about what age do you date or whatever, and a lot of the women were chiming in. These were spiritual women. They labeled themselves spiritual at least, and they were saying, "Oh, I only date younger. I want somebody that's going to live a full life with me." Just because if you're dating a man
Yeah.
10 years older, then it's known that women live usually longer. And so I was like, well, I don't want to overanalyze that, but
Uh-huh.
I do think it would be weird to be dating someone 10 years younger than me. And but
Mhm.
now as I'm single and I've thought about it, because I've never really been single. I am a serial monogamous. Like I usually have like 6 months in between,
Mhm.
But this time it's a different relationship breakup because I'm still in love with him. He's my best friend, but we're long distance and I want somebody that can physically be here. And it's like 7 years has gone by. I think it would have happened by now, so I got to move on at some point if I
Yeah.
want more. But
Yeah.
how do you leave a relationship? I've never, I've always left a relationship because I felt I've outgrown this. You're not working on yourself. I am. We're on different paths. But this one, yeah, I've outgrown it a little. I'm sure I've sped up my change, my transformation is, and more advanced. But, I still love him. I still think of him as my best friend. It's just I need more. So I'm gonna need some time to heal and move on
Mhm.
from that relationship, which in every other circumstance, even my marriage, I was able to move on quick because I was already done anyway. So,
Mhm. Mhm. I see. I
um
can see how this one is an exception, and I think it's really wise of you to acknowledge that because it wasn't a breach of, any principles, it was just the proximity thing. I can see why it would take longer to heal from that separation, and also being physically close is essential.
it
And
is.
I really respect the courage you have to know that you deserve to be with somebody that can hold you more
Yeah,
often,
thanks, yeah.
and that's not an easy decision.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it was great because I was just getting divorced, I was raising a kid, I didn't wanna bring another man and, around, so soon, so it was like long distance was perfect, but 7 years later, it's like, "Wait a second, how long are we gonna do this?" It's
Yeah.
not working out for any of us to move, I'm not moving there, I can't anyway, so it is what it is, it's a growth opportunity it's been a new growth opportunity for me, for sure.
Mm. Wow.
So, but
Well,
what I
go
wanted
ahead.
to say is, well, I asked you that is because I one of my dreams I love to do all kinds of things, but connecting people is at the base of it, and I've always dreamt about being a matchmaker, like, I love matchmaking people, and so back in October I have so many, like 3 or 4 women in my life that are, spiritual and they've been single for a while, and that just seems to be what's happening is these women that are working on themselves spiritually, they can't find a man to match that, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, "They've gotta be here. I'm gonna find I'm gonna find some men out there, that are."
Aw. For your
But
friends?
yeah, but, it was easier, 20 years ago. It's not it's not so
Because we're more
easy.
awake now, Sharon. It's like it was easier to match, but it wasn't necessarily healthy or right.
Exactly,
Like,
right.
that's just the first hump, then you gotta, like, make the relationship work, and we didn't know ourselves as well 20 years ago,
Yeah,
we know our
totally.
we're so, uh, the success isn't the match, the success is, 10 years in and you still hold hands,
Yeah,
that's so,
yeah.
but if you think of somebody for me
I will, yes. I will always keep you like, I'm always in my mind thinking, "Oh, that guy's single, that maybe he matching." I'm always thinking that, so it's
that's
good
cute.
to get, what you're what you're desiring so that I can think if I meet somebody, I can think, "Hey, you might be interested in meeting my friend." So, I
You're
love
very
doing that.
sweet.
Like, I would totally love that job just to be the Millionaire Matchmaker? Did you ever watch
Yeah.
that show? I
No, but
would
I've heard of it.
I'm gonna throw a party and bring singles together, and I was actually thinking about doing that, but it just became
Uh,
too much work trying to find the
mhm.
men that I kinda gave up, and I'll probably come back to it eventually, but I'm burned out.
Uh-huh.
So but I know for each of us individually when it's our time, but yeah, a lot of us need to be alone to do the work, but when it's time, it'll be time. It's just that we have to put our feelers out there and socialize and, like, get out and do things.
Yeah. Or just hope that, you know well, I really believe it's funny we're saying this, it's like, to me, that's like my ego when it's like, "Oh, I gotta do these things to make it happen," but the truth is that's not how it works.
Mm,
I don't believe.
yeah.
I do believe that we have soul contracts, and I
Mhm,
believe we have soul mates, and, I it's interesting thinking that it's exciting thinking that I actually haven't met my soulmate yet,
yeah,
and
it is exciting.
'cause I've raised a child with a beautiful person, I had a really beautiful 8-year relationship early in life, I carry these people with me in my heart, they shaped me in so many wonderful ways,
Mhm,
and I grew a lot in those relationships and have nothing but gratitude for them, and I think, like, God, how freaking amazing that the person that I'm gonna meet, I assume that we've lived many lifetimes together.
mhm, right,
Many, many, and I've been, the man and,
mhm,
I don't gender is a funny thing because 'cause I'm pretty much pro transgender, but
mhm,
I've been all genders and so have they.
yes,
And, I know, like, there will be a full body somatic, like, memory
yeah,
when I meet him. I know this. And I didn't feel that way in my 8-year and 16-year
mhm,
relationship. It was I wasn't awake. I was doing it for other reasons.
mhm,
So, um, yeah,
totally. It'll
in
be
that sense, I can just kinda sit back, read my book,
yeah, yeah,
and it's gonna happen when he does the work and I do the work to kind of finalize old patterns and let them go. It's just gonna happen. I did ask in that reading, "Is there a timeline, Collie?" And she was like, "Timelines are funny." "That's the hardest question," she said, "but if you both did this deep dive in the next few weeks, it could happen as early as a few weeks." But she said, "You both have to do it. So you could finish your work, and if he hasn't finished his work, then it's not gonna happen." She said it could be as long as 2 years.
mm,
So I kind of feel a sense of confidence, like, yeah, I'm doing my stuff, and it's
yeah,
just gonna come together when it's
right.
supposed to, you know?
Yeah, that feels good,
Yeah.
and it is exciting to be like, you never know when it's gonna come in, when he's gonna appear, and
Yeah, and then when he does, I'll be, like, remembering this conversation going, how the hell do I fit him in? Where? Tuesdays from 7 to 9 and Thursdays from 8 to 10. Yo, take it or leave it. I love you,
Hilarious.
but I have other priorities.
Funny. It's exciting though. It's good to joke about, and then when it happens, it's, like, even more just something to joke about and just be humorous about how this all led to each other. I
Yeah,
love it. This has been such a fun conversation.
it's
You know
been
it's a good conversation when I go over an hour. Wow.
well, I looked at this at 53 minutes and I was like, she's not winding down yet. This is so cool. Okay, great. We're going for a
I
little
mean,
extra.
it just feels like I'm getting to know you, and it doesn't even feel like work, so
Aw. Oh,
this is
it's been such a pleasure to laugh with
yay.
you and to get to
I
know.
know.
I
I
was
love it.
hoping, yeah, I was hoping for a conversation that that it would be like just having a cup of tea together and just happen to be recording it
Yeah,
and put
this
it on
definitely felt
YouTube
I
for the
felt
world to see.
yeah, this felt very connecting and just free flowing, which is the best. So
Thank you
thank you,
so much.
sunshine. Wow,
Thank you
so
for what you do.
thank you. Where can people find you?
Thanks for asking. You're such a sweetheart. My website is bettingon.love. That's bettingon.love. And that's where I send people if they're interested in doing live channeling, which I know we didn't talk about, which is perfect because I didn't care to talk about all that stuff. But I do live channeling. I do have a little bit of a wait list right now, but I can also add you to the wait list, and all the information for live channeling is there. And then I am most of my time and energy in the last 7 months since I've been taking a pause on channeling has been public speaking. And often when I do events or sessions around the world at different conferences, I'll try to record my talk and then I turn that raw footage into a film. So my YouTube channel is at sunshine_grace. And if you go peck around there, maybe the best place to start is the video that we had mentioned earlier, which is Ayahuasca and Spiritual Awakenings, my story. So
Mhm.
I've been creating this YouTube channel intentionally uh, as I'm awakening. I don't have the answers. I'm a student of life like everyone else. And I wanted to reach the people who have someone they love in their family or a friend who hears voices and maybe has certain ideas about what that means about the person's mental health, and encourage people to know me and my work intimately as someone who identifies as a spiritual medium and a voice hearer, um, and consider alternative lenses for seeing, hearing voices, and specifically be open to understanding what people need when they need support and be more interested in that than the labels. Because over time, as we support people who are in crisis, they make their own meanings anyway. They don't need the labels. They can figure it out. They'll make their own meaning.
Mhm.
They really just need support. So my YouTube channel is a place for me to talk about being a voice here, the stigma, the marginalization, and really the resiliency of the human spirit and hope for people who are in really dark places.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, thank you for your work in the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's
This
such
has
a
been a great time. Thank you
good
so
one.
much.
And if you ever make it to Midtown, because I'm on 17th-ish, please, and I love spaghetti tests. You can just shoot me a text and say, I'll send you my number if I haven't already, and just say, hey, we'd love to, you can come up and sit in the infrared sauna with me or cold
Oh,
plunge,
okay.
pool. It's summertime, jump in the pool. Love
Okay.
to, yeah, you're always welcome over here.
Yay. All right. We'll do that.